Hey, good morning, church. So grateful to come and spend a couple moments with you talking about prayer for the church and how important it is that we consistently and as often as the Lord puts it on our hearts, offer up prayer for the church and for the people of the church. It is important to pray for our church, Boundless Grace, for our staff, for Brother Josh and the leadership of our church and the decisions that they have to make and the weight that they have to bear. And the reason why it's so important is because there's very few things in this life that are as significant as the prayers of the church. About the only thing more significant than the prayers of the church is our actual love for God and our obedience to Him as a church. Being prayerful is actually an act of obedience because we're supposed to come to Him and lift up those who have been put in service over us, but also who are in fellowship and community with us inside the body. I love on our Wednesday night services, a little bit later on today, we're going to spend some time in prayer over the people inside of our church, the needs that they face. We'll pray for some of those missionaries that we serve. And it reminds me of a story in Acts chapter 12, a great moment in Scripture. Peter is really the church is being pursued by Herod, and James has just been killed, and he's trying to get a hold of as many of the disciples and apostles as he can to end this uprising of Christianity. He finally gets a hold of Peter and he throws him in jail. And it tells us in Acts chapter 12, verse 5, that fervent, consistent prayers were being made for Peter by the church. And if you read on in that chapter, you read the amazing story of how Peter is delivered out of prison by the angel, how he goes back to the church and he recounts the story to them. It really sets up an incredible moment where we see God hearing the prayers of the church and delivering Peter out of this difficulty, taking care of him. He wasn't done with him yet. And it reminds me of how important prayer really is. It opens my mind and my heart up to realize that one of the most important values I have and that I've instilled in our youth is that intercessory prayer fuels it. We have to go on behalf of others before the Lord. So I encourage you, please be praying for our church this week, for the church in America and as a whole, all over the earth, for those who are in persecution and opposition, for those who are apathetic and just kind of going through the motions, for those who are wanting to reach out and get a hold of the lost people around them. Lift up prayers for the church. You know somebody specifically inside the church who needs prayer. I encourage you to pray for them today. Lift their name up specifically to God and ask Him to meet their specific needs. I hope to see you guys tonight and spend some time in prayer with you for the church and over the people of the church, and look forward to what God is going to do through this month of prayer. Y'all be blessed.